Hello everyone and welcome to Bathurst for round 2 of season 29 CrewChief BMW v Merc 92. I'm Simon Fillinger and I'll be presenting this broadcast together with Miguel Santiago Corral of the second round of this very popular CrewChief sponsored series here at RRLeagues. For those who aren't aware, RRLeagues is an international sim racing community hosting Race Room and R Factor 2 series. We pride ourselves on presenting a professional environment for our drivers to enjoy a virtual racing career among like-minded individuals, where close but fair racing takes precedent. We always welcome new drivers, so if you want to get involved in the racing and be part of an ambitious community, don't hesitate to head on over to rrleagues.com. We're pleased to introduce CrewChief as series sponsor of season 29 BMW v Merc 92. CrewChief is the alternative race engineer for PC and console and will transform many current racing sims, giving an extremely realistic and immersive experience. The Chief provides essential data on damage, fuel, tyres, yellow flags, lap times, and is highly interactive, allowing you to ask your engineer for information on a multitude of race scenarios. CrewChief is a free download for PC that works effectively with Race Room and is now also integrated into the new web hub in development. RRLeagues highly recommends this game-changing app and thanks Jim and the team for continuing to develop the software. Please consider a donation to CrewChief to aid in continued development and to show appreciation of the time constantly invested in updating the app, which you can download at www.thecrewchief.org. You'll also find a link in the video description below. Jim has kindly provided 1100 VRP prizes for the series. You'll find more details of these in our forum. So this is in many respects our most anticipated championship at RRLeagues. The BMW v Merc 92 series races two absolute classics from the Race Room DTM 92 pack, the BMW M3 and the Mercedes 130e, and put them on the track together in the hands of some very talented drivers, and the results are explosive. It's a series that never fails to deliver action, and one that the drivers are always keen to be part of to experience everything that comes with racing these cars. The thrills, the pressure, the frustration, the closeness of battle, the ecstasy of winning, and of course the despair of seeing your rivals finish ahead of you. If you watched race 1, there were a few drivers seething as they underfueled their cars and came to a halt on the last lap, snatching well-earned points away from them. Round 2 will do nothing to alleviate the pressure on a driver as we visit some of the most famous tarmac on the planet. Bathurst is one of the few remaining truly great road circuits in the world, and come 8 o'clock tonight the mountain will erupt as approximately 30 drivers begin their quest for the Holy Grail. It's narrow, it's fast, it's concrete lined, and there's no room for error. Massive elevation changes. It's a track like no other. When you head up Mountain Straight for the first time, approaching speeds of 230k, you know it's the only breather you'll get for the next 90 seconds or so, as nothing but total commitment will be rewarded here at Mount Panorama. Reinhard Berger holds the lap record here at RRLeagues in both qualifying and the race. In season 18, Berger recorded a 2:08.8 to take pole and a 2.9 flat in the race, so that gives some indication as to what will be required of the drivers hoping for victory tonight. So let's take a look at the driver standings after the opening round. And it's Janko Glavak that leads the series after dominating in Zolder. The Slovenian had a perfect round one, putting his Merc on pole and taking both race wins, which gave him the maximum 200 points available. The crew chief himself, Jim Britton, scored 2 podiums, which puts him second in the championship. Jim is unable to make the race tonight, but fortunately our series mostly offer a drop round, so drivers can afford one absence per series. Ralph Arella, or Stella Arella as he's affectionately known within our community, occupies 3rd position after 2 P4 finishes in Belgium. Peter Backus, our current number 1 of 9 weeks, lies in 4th, taking a podium in race 2, and it's David Daw in 5th, taking a podium in his home race before a small gap to the rest of the field. The red asterisk represents those drivers who are in the AM Cup. There's a separate AM Cup standings with its own scoring system, but unfortunately we don't have it to show you tonight. But the drivers' positions aren't changed from what you see on the screen now. So it's Janusz Migas who heads the AM Cup drivers from Stefan Rydal. Stefan got the better of Janusz in the opening race at Zolder, but Janusz on his debut at RRLeagues outscored Rydal in the second start. Henk comes in 3rd in the AM Cup, but still lots to fight for over the course of the season. If we look at the team standings, we can see that 77 have an 88-point lead at the top of the table over closest rivals CrewChief Megacorp Works team. 77 comprises of Janko Glavak and Ralph Arella, make a pretty formidable team in the number 12 Benz. CrewChief Megacorp's work team, with its changed lineup this series, could have had a few points more if it weren't for Radek's drive-through penalty in the opening round at Zolder. SRT, the French-Serbian connection of Jas Forsberg and Nemanja Minojevic, sit in 3rd position. The rest of the team start to bunch up a little behind them. At each round we're introducing 3 teams to you, just to tell you a little bit more about them and who they consist of. So starting with the number 4 Mercedes AMG. So the number 4 Mercedes is occupied by 2 independent drivers, each racing for the roast team. First up is Wojciech Kozak, racing under the pole position team. Wojciech is new to RRLeagues for this CrewChief series. He's one of 3 Polish debutants in season 29, taking the nation's representatives in the series to 4. Wojciech didn't have the best of times in Zolder in the opening round, having to retire on lap 5 in the opening race, and unfortunately not making the grid for race 2. The second seat will be occupied by Elio Fernandes of Portugal, racing for EM Racing. Elio was absent for race 1, so will be looking to get his season off to a good start today. Both of these drivers will be competing in the AM Cup. The number 10 BMW M Team Bigazzi will house the B Fast racing team. Northern Irishman John Patterson made his debut at RRLeagues in August last year in season 24 WTCC. A strong showing in the Citroën Elise, which included a credible win at Monza, earned him the Best Newcomer title in the prestigious RRLeagues Awards of 2018. A P15 and P16 finish at Zolder for Patterson was an okay start to the campaign, but I would be surprised to see a steady improvement throughout the series. Jelle Ooms is a teammate of Jean, the Dutchman, making his 11th start and hopefully 12th, was ever present in the GT4 Championship of season 27, the highlight surely being the P2 finish at the Nordschleife. Two P9 finishes at Zolder looked a credible start for Ooms, but a penalty from the stewards would see him relegated to 20th in race 2. An ambitious team who, in their Zolder debrief hinted they expect top 10 finishes, so they'll be surely looking for good results at Bathurst, and for the drivers to keep away from the steward's office. The number 5 Mercedes AMG is also populated by two independent drivers, who are both relatively new to RRLeagues and both late sign-ups to the series. Canadian Damien de Grasse occupies the first seat of the number 5 livery. Damien, having notched up 14 races in his RRL career, has amassed six podiums, including 2 victories, and is certainly a driver that could add to his podium tally in this series. A P10 and a DNF in the season opener means de Grasse can ill afford another poor result. Federico Sfanger rides alongside Damien in the number 5 AMG for his independent team, Hellenic Slot Car Club. Federicos made his RRLeagues debut in season 27, where he drove the Lotus Evora GT4. The enthusiastic Greek makes his 8th start at RRLeagues and will be looking to continue his improvement as he learns from this talented group. So, with 20 minutes left of qualifying, it will soon be time for the driver's briefing in 5 minutes, a quarter to the hour. Which I will also be conducting tonight, so I'll be bringing that to you live as well on the broadcast, so you can get an insight of what goes on the driver's briefing. But looking at the early times, no surprise to see Janko Glavak leading the top of the time so far with a 2:08.7. Expecting another strong race from Janko tonight. Clive Britton also putting in some very good times in this practice session. Tom Cahonen, Anya, David, Greg, Morton, Ralph. A leaderboard full of respected names that you would expect to see at the top of the leaderboard. But of course, this is only the practice session, and the real business will start at 8 o'clock when it's time for qualifying. So I'll just leave you with these pictures for the moment while I prepare for the driver briefing, and we'll bring that to you shortly. Okay gents, time for the driver briefing. Hope everybody can hear me okay.
Yep.
Yep.
Magic. So welcome everyone to RRLeagues Summer of Thunder season, and tonight it's the second round of season 29, which is a CrewChief sponsored BMW v Merc 92 series. RRLeagues recommends all drivers use CrewChief to enhance their gameplay and provide essential in-game references. So we're at Bathurst tonight for round 2, an extremely challenging road track that requires absolute precision as you ascend and descend the mountain. It's a fairly narrow track, so you mustn't sit in the middle of the road on the straights, as this will be deceived as unfair blocking by the stewards, so make sure you leave room for an opponent to overtake should that be the case. Over the mountain, overtaking will be quite difficult, but not impossible, but of course drivers need to execute any overtakes within the rules. Just remember, getting it wrong will likely put you hard into the wall with possible terminal damage. Server settings for the season are as follows. So the flags are set at visual only, meaning all flags will get triggered and shown, but no penalties will be applied, aside from the black flag. If you see a black flag, that will be a disqualification. But just because there's no penalties to the regular flags, that doesn't mean you should totally ignore them. They will be shown for a reason, and you should do your best to heed the warning. Cut track penalties. If you exceed the track limits and gain more than half a second before you rejoin, you'll get a drive-through penalty. Mechanical and visual damage are both on. These cars seem to get damaged pretty easily, especially if you put your front end into the wall or into the barriers, so just go careful. Reverse grid is on, more on that later. Fixed setups, wrecker prevention and mandatory pit stops are all off, and both the qualifying session and the race will begin with a standing start. Tyre multiplier and the fuel multiplier are both at ×1. Text chat, no one likes being distracted when we've got a job to do, so from the moment we move into the qualifying session, then in-game text chat is strictly prohibited. So from the moment the practice session finishes, there is to be no in-game text chat, even after you've crossed the finish line, as there'll likely be other drivers finishing the race. The pit lane, the pit speed limit here is 80 km/h, which absolutely must be respected in the qualifying and of course the race sessions. Anyone spotted by a steward exceeding the pit speed limit in qualifying will receive the relevant penalty. Pit stops are not essential here, not for fuel or tyres. You may pick up a penalty over the course of the race though, so I recommend that everyone practices a pit entry just so you are all aware of how to handle it. Pit exit shouldn't be any problem here, but just don't go wandering across the track. Just keep to your line and make sure there's no one coming up fast behind you. On to qualifying then. Qualifying will be a 15-minute session, which will commence in 10 minutes at 2000 BST. Result of the qualifying session will determine the grid for race 1, and remember, championship points are up for grabs for the fastest 3 qualifiers. There'll be 2 races tonight. There's no warm-up sessions, so when qualifying is over we're straight into race 1, which is for 25 minutes. Race 2, again with no warm-up between the races, will also be for 25 minutes and will feature a top 10 reverse grid. That means the top 10 finishers from race 1 will be reversed and will form the front of the grid for race 2. No mandatory pit stops in either race. Points will be rewarded to all finishers, so make sure to cross the finish line even if you think you're having a race. Obviously be careful on the opening lap, gents. Turn 1, Hell Corner, and Turn 2, Griffin Bend, are realistically the only opportunities that you'll get to make any positions before you head up and down the mountain. Easy to outbrake yourself into Turn 2 though, so don't ask too much on these cold brakes. And as you head on up to the cutting, then you really need to take stock of what you've got and remain patient until clear opportunities present themselves. As ever, the stewards will review the opening lap of both races. Any other incidents that you want us to have a look at, you must report them via the incident review submission form, which you'll find on the website, and please take note of the window that you must submit your incidents. There's no penalties tonight to be served, but a few drivers just need to go a little steady, as licence points are already starting to amass on some drivers' licences. Okay, I think I've covered everything there. Does anybody have any questions?
No.
Okay, great then. Well, thanks, gents. All I can do now is wish you good luck and to have a good race. So you're now all free to leave Discord briefing room and use the text channel, the team channels if you so wish. Okay, guys, have a good race and yep, have fun out there.
Cheers, Simon.
Yeah, good luck.
So that's the briefing done. There's a few minutes left of qualifying now, sorry, there's a few minutes left of practice now before qualifying starts on the hour, which is a great time to introduce my friend and colleague Miguel to the commentary booth. Good evening, Miguel.
Good evening, everybody.
Welcome.
Hey, thank you. I'm glad to be here again after well, the showing 2 weeks ago. So glad to see the guys on the track again, especially on the mountain here. That will be a real challenge. So really looking forward to it. And I must say, it's I think for the viewers, it's a nice insight to also follow that briefing that we always talk about in the streams, but you never get to hear. So I think it's a nice way of showing how we try to run the place professionally, and all the drivers are kept aware of what they can and can't do, and the ins and outs of every specific race.
Yeah, for sure. It gives a nice insight into as you say, how we operate and what we expect of our drivers. So yeah, hopefully that gives the viewers a little more of an inside edge to the broadcast tonight. Yeah,
indeed. So yeah, indeed, 6 minutes to qualifying, and it's Janko Glavac again on setting the pace for the moment, but well, Clive Britton is really close to him in terms of lap time. The top 11 are within 1 second, so that's looking very tasty. And I see we have 25 drivers on the grid at the moment, 26 a couple of minutes ago. So it's looking like a nice big grid again. That will provide some great racing out around this epic track.
Yeah, for sure. That's a good time by Clive in the BMW. So BMW eventually still trying to get to the head of the grid, head of the timing sheets, as it seems to be Mercedes who are doing fairly well. But the likes of
Indeed,
Clive, David,
He
Peter.
didn't race at Zolder, I think. Well, no, I'm sure he didn't race at Zolder, so let's hope he can get a good performance here and kickstart his champ. Because well, Zolder will then probably count as his dropped round, his worst first round anyway, so he still has a chance for the championship if he can keep this pace up. But then he can't afford to make any stupid mistakes or lose any points. I think Bathurst is the track that can take that stuff away.
Yeah, for sure. Clive, if I remember correctly, he did make it to the server at Zolder, but suffered some kind of technical issue that killed his chances before we moved into qualifying. So that was desperately unlucky for Clive. But as you say, we have the drop round facility, and hopefully he'll make use of that and just gives the driver that extra pressure, though, doesn't it? Once you've used your drop round so early on in the series, you know that every round counts from here on in.
Yeah. Indeed. Looking at the lap times, he's currently the fastest driver in Sector 2, so he's the quickest over the mountain. If he keeps this up in qualifying, it would be nice to jump on board with him and see how he handles that mountain section of the track. He's 2/10 quicker than anyone else, so that's really impressive by him. Because I think he's in the AM or M class, right?
Clive, yes, he is. He's in the M Cup. Yes.
Yeah, so that's really impressive from him.
Sure.
Let's see what he can do today.
Track record, or at least the RRLeagues record, is held by Reinhard Berger. In season 18, he recorded a 2:08.8 to take pole position here. So Janko at the minute is just inside that.
Yeah, so that time is already off the sheets, and looking at the leaderboard times, well, the world record time is a 2:07.4, which is still quite a way off of what we're seeing here today. But you never know what these guys pull out of the bag in qualifying. We saw Janko setting a world record time at Zolder in the qualifying session, so well, I would not be surprised if he gets close.
He was on
Looking
fire.
at the leaderboard as well, it's from our drivers. It's Radek Pavlak, who's on the top of the leaderboard in 9th position with a 2:08.8. Yeah, right there with him are David Dorge, Peter Bacchus, Greg Metcalf, Tom Korhonen, etc. So all those guys are in the top 20 of the leaderboard, and Clive Britton is in 17th there. So well, the times here set on the server don't count towards the leaderboard, but I think, yeah, it's a nice comparison, because with the leaderboard times, I think you get ideal track condition. So yeah, that's a good benchmark to have a look at those times. And then Radek should be pretty quick here now. He's in 9th position on the practice server now as well. So let's see what he can. By the way, Radek is also streaming his race from his end on his YouTube channel. I'll put the link in the comment section of the stream, and that way you can watch our official stream here. And if you want to get an onboard, just hop on board with which is always some good driving. We also saw him in the Formula Race Room series, so here we have him on the screen, and that provided some nice onboards as well from him. It's always nice to see some drivers also streaming their races next to our live streams.
Yeah, indeed. Worth mentioning that the world record time on the leaderboard was set in the Opel Amiga, which is a bit of a beast down the straights. Certainly has the edge over the Mercedes and the BMW, but I suppose it's evened out over the mountain section. But I do believe it maybe has the edge over these BMWs and Mercs on a track like Bathurst.
Oh, okay, I wasn't aware that there were other cars than these two here on in this this class, but those are maybe pretty unbalanced to race with these two car makes.
Yes, yes, possibly on a track like this with the two incredibly long straights. I see the fastest Mercedes, or the fastest time out of the Mercedes and the BMWs is a 2:07.8 on the leaderboard. So
yeah,
which is an incredibly quick time.
Yeah, for sure. So would be nice to see that today, but I'm not really counting on that here.
No, I'm not.
Of course, Bathurst is a really popular track, so a lot of times and laps done on this track by probably all the guys on the grid who are now getting set for their qualifying session. 15 minutes, and look at that side 26. Yeah, 26 92 DTM cars hitting the track. And
yes, all scrambling to get out first.
To sort themselves out now.
They all want track position on this qualifying lap to be one of the first few cars to attack the mountain. Don't want any distractions.
Indeed, we see Janko on the side of the road, trying to get out of the way, getting some clean air. Of course, that's a risk, because if someone in front really messes up and doesn't get out of the way quick enough, it's best to really have a 5 to 10 second gap in front of you to set a perfect lap time. And with 26 drivers, that's always tough. I think some drivers suffered as well at Zolder, which is a tiny track compared to this one. And also in our other series, like the Flat 6 series, it's indeed very important to get good track position in the qualifying session, because you essentially get, with this long of a lap time, you'll get probably two sets of runs. I think 2, maybe 3 if you make a mistake in your first lap. Yeah, you guys will really want to be as spread out as possible on the track. And well, let's see what Janko can do. He was the pace setter in practice. He is the absolute leader in the championships right now. After one, getting out of the way of it at the moment.
So Ralph Varela has track position, so we'll see if we can just ride with Ralph.
Yeah, sure.
As he crosses the start-finish line to begin his first flying lap around this famed circuit. Up mountain straight, nobody ahead of him, which is the ideal position to be in. Into Griffin's Bend for the first time. Important not to take any apex curb there, as you lose all drive. Then the climb up to the cutting, which you've really got to attack and get your braking just right. Hook the inside wall on the power gently, not to bring the back end around too much. And then it's just a case of how brave you can be through Reed Park and Sulman Park and into McPhillamy, over the skyline, and then you've got to nail it braking into the S's, risking so much against the walls, down into the cutting. Through Forest Elbow and down onto Conrod Straight, nearly 2 kilometres of straight here, down into the chase. So it's important to have your gearing just right. Flat out through the right kink, and then hard on the brakes into the chase. Really has to be attacked hard. Quick change of direction under the bridge, and then one more corner left, Murray's Corner. Ticks the apex nicely, early on the power, and it's an opening lap of 2:08.7 for Ralph.
Wow, also beating the previous record. So pretty good benchmark time there from Ralph. I think must be happy with that as a first. Can only from here. I think this kind of lap time will get probably into the top 5 for at least. So it's always difficult, I find, to deliver on the first lap. Mostly for me, my second lap is a bit quicker, although the tires are a little bit more. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he has his first position with quite a margin. He's 6/10 clear of Lucas behind, and then well, all the guys behind all also starting their second lap. Morten Roslev at the moment 4th position. I was just looking. No, we don't have any Australians or locals running today. So it's a shame, but in any case,
Janko Glavac must have struggled on his opening first flying lap, or encountered traffic, as you pointed out, Miguel. So he'll be hoping for a cleaner run on his second lap. Let's see if we can ride with Janko just to see.
He? 34.9 in the first sector. That's very much on the pace. A little bit slower than Ralph. Getting into the wall there for Janko, but maybe not the biggest issue for now. But this braking zone here is really the toughest one of the track, I think. And then getting onto the power here as early as you can, and then down through Forest's elbow and on the power as early as you can again for the long back straight. And yes, purple second sector, that was quicker than Clive in the practice session. So times are coming down, but Arella still with a 8.7 at the top of the leaderboard. Let's see what Janko can do here. Hard braking for the chase. And really hopping those curbs, which must feel really nice in these cars, I must say.
Yes, it's nice being able to attack and know that you're not going to get spewed off.
Oh, a bit of a slide there, but he keeps it together.
Doing it with style.
Oh, that's going to be a very quick time.
Yes,
8.1.
to 8.1. Wow.
Looks like keeps going. No, pulled to the side of the track. Right, so everybody has put a lap in except for the track. He's just hitting the track. Raymond Hathers is also on the track, but still in the pits, so he might be well, waiting there and starting from the back of the grid might be a possibility. But looking forward to Clive's qualifying session. He's on this out lap now. See what he can do in the BMW. For the rest, it's looking pretty close as from 3rd position. For Morten put himself into 3rd, so improving on his previous time. The Dane and Ralph getting a bit closer now, 5/10 off of Janko, and then from 3rd spot on, it's pretty close, pretty throughout the. But you will see some drivers with quite big gaps, like for example, they might have made a small mistake on their laps, which is easy to do. So that doesn't mean they won't have any pace, as David goes into 12th position just now.
Manu with 2 purple sectors. Didn't quite see what his time was though.
So I'm just going to follow Clive around, see if he has a good lap as he starts his lap now. The 14.6 is the or 14.4 for Nemanja Manojlovic in the first sector. No, sorry, 30.8 is the time Clive should be aiming for on his first sector. So let's see what he can do here. If he can get below 35, so he's on the good track. 35.2, so a little bit of the pace, but nothing to really worry about. And as we said, Pavlacek, the top RRL driver on the leaderboard, putting himself into third, so also good performance from him. Second sector, we're looking at a 1.14, 6, 7, 8 more or less. Nemanja Manojlovic with a 114.4, the quickest over the mountain, and we saw Clive was the quickest through sector 2 in the practice session, so a 15.2 for him at least. Well, he will not start from 25th position, and he has still time to get another lap in after this one.
Yeah, so we're looking good enough for about 7th or 8th, I think, this lap at the moment, unless he can in a stonker the third sector.
Yeah, especially I find the braking zone for Murray's corner, the last corner, is very tricky. It just invites you in to brake later, and well, you end up regretting it most of the time if you do. Clive gets it stopped over the curb. And indeed puts himself into 10th position and starts another. Goes a bit wide, so let's see if he can make that up. Oh yeah, up lap, so that's qualifying over for him. We have 2 minutes 30 seconds to go, so that means that anyone wanting to set a lap time still now have to get over the finish line as soon as they can. Hit 0, the qualifying session will be over. Great. Fastest first sector, a good second sector, so let's see if he can improve on his 8th position through the chase. Very remarkable livery on that car, I must say.
Yes, it's you won't miss that in the pack.
Greg stays in 8th, and well, he will not be able to put another lap in. Peter Bacchus is in 5th. Will he improve? Oh, Nemanja goes into 2nd position.
Yes.
Only 1/10 off or 2/10 off of
Splits the 277 drivers.
Yeah, indeed. And Janko setting purple sectors and well, by big margins here. So we might be looking at another world record. 207.4 is the top of the leaderboard for the Opel, as you said. So he might be getting close here if he has a good 3rd sector.
Yeah, just keep your composure, Janko. 207.8 is the fastest Mercedes time on the leaderboard.
Yeah.
Comes across the line. Oh, did the session just run out?
Oh. Yeah, it was 7.9 for
Oh,
for
he got
Janko.
it, did he?
Yeah.
Must have just got that in
Yeah,
time.
that was close.
Yes. Well, that's a great effort to break the 208s.
Indeed, and a nice qualifying session. The gaps between the top 5 rather big, but then after that very small margins indeed. And well, just like at Zolder, I think the races, because we have 2 races today, will be all about damage control, I think, and keeping it clean over the mountain. So we're getting ready to start. Everybody loading up race setups, and let's see. We have a nice mix of BMWs and Mercedes here on the grid, on the top 10 at least, and the grid spanning all the way back to Murray's Corner almost. And the standing start here will be quite hectic for the first corner for sure. And as you mentioned in the briefing, guys will need to be careful there, and then into Griffin's Bend. I think we will see some 3 wide action. I'm quite sure of that.
Yeah, the rows are very close together here at Bathurst, so hardly any room between the cars.
And off we go. Good start from Janko, and a worse start for
Nemanja, was
it? Down 3rd position. Nemanja, sorry. And Bacchus up into 4th position already.
Looks like everyone's got through turn 1 fairly safely. The cars roll up Mountain Straight for the first time. Heavy braking into Griffin's Bend to slide round and make their way up to the cutting.
Still everybody keeping it clean here through Griffin's Bend. Oh, there's one car sideways, but the Peck is involved. Frederico's Vank gets going again. And
that big cocky erect looks like he's had an incident and has dropped to the back of the field.
Yeah, indeed, and has a bent fender at the front, but he's still running. So Radek Pavlacek into 2nd spot, and let me repeat it. Of course, keep following this stream, but he has his own onboard stream. So if you want to look at 2nd place man Pavlacek, feel free to click the link in the comments section and see if he can worry Janko Glavac. It was already a big, it's a long lap. It's already almost 1 lap done here at Bathurst.
Ralph tucked up behind Radek. Can he make a move through the kink and into the chase?
Peter Bacchus behind.
Yeah, I'll look to.
Has a look on the inside, but Radek keeps it tidy.
Nemanja found his way past Tom, coming out of the dipper, believe it or not. So it looks like them 2 are involved in a close battle.
Wow, that's impressive. So everybody finishing their first lap of this Bathurst race, and everybody can now set for their pace, and let's see what that brings for this 26 car field. Jas Forsberg dropping back to last position. He's crossing the line now for lap 1, so he had some kind of issue, it seems. And Pavlacek, Arela and Bacchus fighting for 2nd position means that Janko can focus on the road in front of him and eke out a gap of about seconds now. Guys hitting the walls there. Luckily the damage in race room is not too harsh here with these cars, but as you said also in the briefing, they do get damaged, and it does affect performance a little bit. So you don't want to be doing that every single lap.
Peter's looking to attack Ralph around the outside of Forest Corner.
Can't stick it around the outside, but he has a good run, I think.
Peter gets his nose on the inside into breaking into the chase.
We'll have
Ralph
to
could be in trouble
to keep third. No, Ralph. Yeah, Peter got past Ralph.
Yeah, Ralph succumbs for the time being.
And Pavlacek keeping the gap to Glavac at about 2 seconds. So let's see if he can keep him honest at least.
Blastermill running a little wide out of Hell Corner there, which gave Nemanja the opportunity to use his momentum to carry his way past the check.
I'm quickly going to have a look at the AM or AM Cup drivers and see who's leading that class for now.
Yes, class leader Janusz Migas is absent for today's race.
Yeah. I think it might be Clive, or if Sven Hecke is also in that class, might be him.
No, Sven isn't. I believe it's Clive.
No, yeah, Clive. So indeed, he was setting the pace in practice as well, and he's leading that class at the moment in 11th position overall. And we are very closely fighting Sven and Greg in front, which yeah, is a nice battle to see, because it's for that 10th spot, which will put you on pole for the second race. So very important battle there.
Yes, Aaron May, also AM Cup driver, missed the first round at Zolder, which he was extremely disappointed about. We'll be highly looking forward to tonight's race. So Aaron in 12th position, also
he's right behind Clive. Yeah,
right behind Clive. Yeah. Ooh.
We have Vlastimil. Oh, a bit of argy-bargy there, but he gets past Nemanja, I think.
Yes,
Tom,
looks like he's returning position though.
Yeah,
so that's good from Vlastimil.
In the process, Tom up to P5.
Yep.
Let's hope all the drivers put enough fuel in their car for these races, because we don't want to see the kind of drama we saw at the end of the first race at Zolder, do we?
No, that must have been heartbreaking for sure for the drivers who had put so much sweat and tears into the positions they had acquired.
Yeah, indeed. No Jim Britton today, so he was quite closely contesting with Janko, but he's not here today. Oh, side-by-side action here by with Nemanja Manojlovic, and he passes Tom for 5th position again. So Nemanja looking pretty strong, and Pavlacek closing down the gap to Glava in front. So
yes,
we have a race on our hands.
Drivers hopefully used to the racing in these cars after Zolder. Probably been a baptism of fire for some of the drivers that haven't competed in this series before. Nose to tail action. You think you're attacking? Yeah, you think you're attacking someone in front, and then all of a sudden you've got to defend from the guy behind. You need eyes in the back of your head, and can't afford to lose concentration for a second when you're involved in these great battles.
No, indeed, for sure. Ralph now having a look at Peter Bacchus' third position.
Yes, Peter not able to pull away from Ralph as much as he might have hoped.
No. Pavlacek really passed him, I think, at the start and didn't look back. So it's 2 Mercs at the front, and then Peter Bacchus is the best BMW on the grid at the moment.
It's a battle of 2 number ones, should we say. Peter holding the number 1 RRL ranked driver spot at the moment, but of course, as we know, Ralph Varela is holding that position for 26 weeks. He attacks Peter into Griffins, but Peter has the inside line and is able to hold on to the position.
Yeah, and Clive involved in some good battle here for the bottom end of the top 10. But he got into P9 for now, so good performance by him. He's right in front of Greg Metcalf and trying to get past Morten Roslev now in P8. So Clive moving up the grid, which is nice to see. And Ralph now going for the inside. Hard, but fair for now. And he also, I think, he conceded that position just a little bit, or a big slide there behind. But Nemanja keeps it on the track. There might have been 1 or 2 big mistakes at the back of the grid, but nothing very serious that we could see on the stream yet. Sven Hecke also trying to get into that top 10, and well, places are getting more expensive by the minute, as we have 15 minutes to go, 10 minutes already gone.
Yeah, drivers need to keep it clean, shall we say?
Yeah.
As we saw, Jelle Ooms had 2 credible P9 finishes at Zolder, but in the steward's office he was found to have taken a position unfairly and not returned it, and was slapped with a 20-second penalty, which dropped him all the way to 20th position. So much was the closeness of the field. So
yes, indeed. As the races are so close, it's always a better option to just concede the position if you have gained it unfairly, because you will lose many more if you get reported and you get the penalty you deserve in the end.
Yes, like you pointed out, Vlastimil lost a position when returning to Nemanja, but in the long run that was definitely the right thing to do, and what we like to see.
The race is still long, and we still have a second race as well.
So Nemanja caught up to the back of this dueling pair for 3rd position, and Nemanja's a tough driver as well. So as I was just saying, Ralph was attacking Peter, now has to have eyes in the back of his head to try and fend off Nemanja, so that might afford Peter some room to try and extend his lead over these 2. Nemanja is so quick around here. Yeah, professes that it's his favourite circuit. He just loves to drive hard and fast.
Yeah, with these cars, it's always fun. Aaron Mayer in 13th, he's a 2nd place man in the AM Cup. It's closest rival, only 4 seconds up the road in 9th position. So only a couple of seconds covering these drivers. So you have Peter Bacchus, between Peter Bacchus and Max Haas. So that's 8 positions. There's only 10 seconds. So everybody very closely together. As we said, if you're watching the stream and you have any questions about the race, about the drivers, or other series, feel free to ask, and we'll try to oblige.
two B-Fast Racing drivers in the new number 10 BMW, Jelle Oons and Jon Patterson, in 14th and 15th position. They'll be hoping to maybe gain some places as we ride with Jelle now. Aaron ahead, can he make a move on Mountain Straight and into Griffin's Bend?
He's looking to be a bit quicker. Aaron moves to the inside.
Oh, and John attacking his teammate now.
Yeah, be careful, guys.
Norfolk Enhance, Noel Conn and Colin Barker. Noel Conn is a Am Cup driver down in 19th. Colin down in 24th. I think I commented last week that BH Racing was our most experienced team out there. But, I think I was wrong, and I stand corrected that Noel Conn and Colin Barker together have amassed nearly 300 races between them. So they are... Yes, action.
Yeah, Nemanja not giving up on that 5th position from Tom Korhonen.
So Tom's got in front of Nemanja. Nemanja's dropped back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, right indeed. Sorry.
So a crumpled bonnet. So he's maybe had an incident with Ralph, perhaps. It looks like he's going to take the position back from Tom yet again.
Yeah, and having a look at the front of the field, last lap for Janko was the 208.973 and 208.920 for Radek Pavracek. So Janko really having to work for this first position. He's not being gifted this race win if he gets. Yeah, let's hope we can get a proper battle for P1. They're only almost 1 second off of each other, but it's really looking like a nice race for those two. Not side by side, but very hard. And Radek took 4/10 out of Janko on the last lap, 209.0 against 209.4 for Janko.
Ralph close.
Still close, yeah.
Ralph's managed to close a gap on Peter again after shaking Nemanja off. It's like Ralph's got good pace here, and hoping he can make something of the situation with Peter.
Yeah, maybe he can get a podium here. And Vlastimil here. Oh. He got past Tom as well now, up to P6 for Vlastimil, and Tom fighting back. Greg Metcalf is now the guy in 10th position and on pole for the second race. As we have 8 minutes to go, we need to start focusing on that as well to see what the starting order in race 2 will become. 7/10 now only between our two leaders. So we'll soon be having a real battle on our hands, I think.
Yes, I wonder if
at,
Janko maybe has any fueling issues and is conserving fuel, possibly.
Yeah, he might be. As Ralph is very, very close now with Peter. And Radek gets the gap under 1 second. 109.3 for Janko, 108.5 for Radek. So Radek really pushing hard now. Another 8/10 by the Polish driver. And also the battle behind Ralph, looking at the outside into Griffin's Bend. Peter Bacchus will surely defend on the inside. Oh, he goes wide. And that's Ralph getting the position. They're coming over the mountain, so that will get tough for sure. Not sure who that is. Just in front of them could be David gets out of the way, very nicely done. And only 3/10 between the two. Peter Bacchus remained in front of Ralph Varela, if you want to know. Oh, that was a bit more unfortunate there. I think, yeah, that was Kochka indeed in front of Ralph Varela and Peter Bacchus. I hope he got going again quickly, as Clive and Morten Roslev, Clive Britton and Morten Roslev dropping down the order, so probably also having a bit of issues getting past that stranded car of Kochka and falling out of the top 10.
Right on the back of Lanko now.
Yes, indeed.
Looking to attack.
And that small incident also AM Cup standings. Oh, Radek for no. As Clive is now in 12th position, Aaron May is in 14th, and he's only 2 seconds behind. So we have a real battle for the lead of the AM Cup at the moment. Max Haas making it up to P10 now, so he's the one on pole position for the second race after a well.
And a big gap back to 11th.
Race. Oh, Pavlicek gets in front. We don't have it on the screen.
Yeah.
I don't at least, but getting in front.
Janko must have a problem of sorts, I believe.
He might, or yeah, bad exit out of Hell Corner, maybe. But he does look to be quite a bit slower than Radek. The 5/10 slower again on this lap, so that's it's not the kind of gap that you expect.
Taking nothing away from Radek, of course. Yeah.
Nope.
Done well to hang on to Janko, and better be there to take your opportunities when they arise.
Ralph in fourth position still, hunting down Peter Bacchus. Can he get on the podium? We have 4 minutes of racing left. And the battle for P14. Now Aaron May got in front of Clive Britt. So Aaron May, the leader in the AM Cup, unless Sabas Albertini is also in that class. We'd have to have a look. No, Albertini is not in that class, so Aaron May currently in the lead of the AM Cup in 13th spot. And Janko still under a second, so
sounds like he's short shifting.
Sure.
From his onboard,
Janko
it sounds like he's short shifting. Maybe fuel is an issue.
Yeah, it might be for sure. Yeah, the guys want to get every bit of performance out of the car, so that means also calculating your fuel to the leader, as you're not getting any normally not getting any pit stops in these races, so you don't want to be putting too much fuel in. There's a big battle going on there for P13, and also between Lucas and Korhonen for 6th position, right behind these guys. So as at Zolder, first the last few minutes of the race getting more and more hectic as tires get worn and fuel tanks get empty.
Bacchus and Arella are going to be able to catch up to Glavac.
Yeah,
maybe
they might indeed
take second from him.
I think we will have 2 laps after this one. Max Haas up to P9, Sven Hecken now in 10th position and on pole for race 2. Aaron May and Clive Britton side by side almost now in 13th and 14th.
Yes, it's a battle for the M Cup #1 spot.
Yep.
Clive's looks like he's got a bit of a crumpled bonnet going on there.
Yes, indeed. And on green, as they try to negotiate traffic. I think that's traffic. Oh no, it's sorry, it's Albertini right in between them, so Aaron got past already. Clive has to have a bit of patience here through Skyline. So it's Aaron's moment to try and get away as quickly as possible here. Already a 4-second gap for Janko to Radek, so he will indeed have to watch out for Peter and Ralph behind. Tom Korhonen really putting Lucas under pressure here.
Tom and Aaron, who make up K&M Racing, putting some hours in on the practice track, preparation for this race. We have a good team dynamic going on there.
Yeah, indeed, very nice performance from those guys.
It's like Clive Britton's dropped back a couple of places.
Yeah.
Looks like he's having an eventful race.
Yeah, he does. Maybe he didn't start as far up as he had hoped or expected, considering his practice pace. And now only 1 second or 1.5 seconds between Bakus and Glavac, as we, I think, as we are on the last lap. Yes, we are on the last lap through Skyline for Pavlacek, and I would suspect Janko has a bit of fuel, or is conserving, so he can use all the power down the Conrad Straight.
Getting very close.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very close. Pavlacek probably will take the win here for race 1. We have Korhonen and Lucas for P7 and 6, who are very, very close. But especially we have to have a look at P2 of Glavac. Is that in danger? Looks like he will be able to hold it. Pavlacek through Murray's corner and over the line to take the win here at Bathurst for round 1 of this racing evening. Glavac will finish in 2nd position with Bakus and Arella very, very close behind. So Peter Bakus also on, and Manolovic in 5th position. Lucas in front of Korhonen. Greg Metcalf will finish in 8th, Max Haas in 9th, and Sven Hecke will be on pole for the 2nd race in P10. Jelle Ooms in 11th position. Aaron May taking the win in the AM Cup in front here of Albertini in 13th, then Stefan Riedel, who is also in the AM Cup, so he takes 2nd position. John Patterson is not in there, but he finished in 15th. Petre Peck, then Clive Britton in 3rd spot for the AM Cup, then Morten Roslev, Chas Forsberg and David Dorhe to round up the top 20. And keeps going. Noel Kahn in 21st, Colin Barker in 22nd, so last 5 minutes were a bit too much for Colin, it seems. No, sorry, that was Clive. And then Wanger in 23rd and Gochka in 24th. And non-finisher are Raymond Hadders and Elio Fernandez. So, Simon, what do you think what we will see in race 2? Can Janko do it again for race 2?
Yeah.
Fuel maybe, or,
yes, he'll have to make sure he gets his fueling right. I'm sure that must have been the issue.
Yeah.
But yes, we'll have 2 Germans on the front row. Sven Heck and Max Haas will lead the guys off for race 2. And Greg will start in 3rd, and we all know Greg's a very hard competitor to overtake. But I'm sure the likes of Janko and Radek, Peter, Nemanja, Ralph will be all pushing as hard as they can to make inroads into that P1 position.
Indeed, yeah. Looking at that top 10 reverse grid, I think, yeah, all those guys in the top 10 are podium material, let's say. Sven Hecke did get a podium already at the RRLeagues. He's maybe the most unexperienced from those top 10 drivers, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, he will want to try and hold on to that position as hard as he can.
Yes, Clive must be a little disappointed with how things unfolded.
Yes,
Just Forsberg, David Dorr. Also, I expect to make good progress, but it's all about staying out of trouble, keeping your front end out of the walls, giving yourself a chance of success in race 2.
Indeed, indeed. As you say, I think Aaron May is the best example. Also, Jelle Ooms. Staying out of trouble is really key here on this track to get a good result. And well, that was proven by all the guys in the top 10 and in the top 15, let's say. I think not too many big mistakes were made there, and we'll have to see what that brings for everybody. Now has some good warm-up preparation under their belt, and it will be a real challenge to make your way to the front here in reverse grid order over the mount. And here are the final standings for race 1. Fastest lap for Janko Glavac, but Pavlacek takes the win. Once again, if you want Pavlacek's race on board, his streaming link is in the comment section. So you could have seen the leading for the lead live on his stream as well while following our official stream. And the good thing is, it all starts over in just 50 seconds for another 25-minute race here around Mount Panorama Bathurst. .2 kilometers and well, yeah, over 2-minute lap. Let's see if Sven Hecke can cope with the pressure of being on pole and gets his Merc going well to get the braking done into Hell Corner.
Yes, there's no slouch. Sven is certainly capable of holding on to the lead.
Indeed, indeed. As we get going for race 2, and Sven indeed has a good start on the inside there, and now it will be key to be patient side by side there for Lucas and Max Haas. Korhonen in second spot for now, and some side-by-side action on Conrad Straight. Pavlacek up to P8, battling it out with Janko Glavac already. Glavac will take the position. Bit of a slide there behind, but everybody keeps it clean.
Lovely sight as the cars thunder up to the cutting for the first time on the opening lap.
So Glavac indeed in front of Pavlacek for now, and Max Haas in second position behind his countryman Sven Hecke. So a German top 2 for the moment, and a Merc in front, followed by BMW, Merc again, and 4 BMWs and 5 Mercs behind. So a good mix of the 2 different car brands we have here in the CrewChief Season 29 C.
Tom had got past Sven, but a mistake coming out of Forest Elbow gives Sven the opportunity to take the position back, and Tom's now back under pressure from Vlastimil, renewing the rivalry from the opening race.
Yep, indeed. Watch them streaming past here on top speed. Not sure what speeds we are reaching here at the end of the straight. Maybe you know, Simon.
I think we're touching
Contact there for Tom, but he gets going again. Oh,
dust
Max
in the background.
Everybody gets going, and everybody is still Vanger in 25th position, so we lost one driver compared to race 1. No idea who that might be. Max Haas piling on the pressure in that slipstream, 1/10. 900s, 700s, coming down, looking at the outside. And onto the grass there in the back.
Reaching 230 kilometers per hour at the end of Mountain Straight.
Yeah,
heavy braking.
So that's not bad. Janko and Radek battling it out here for P8 at the moment, not giving each other an inch. But it's so incredibly close all down through the field. Aaron May keeping his own. He's in 10th position for now, leading the M class. His closest rival, Clive Britton, I think. Yes, he's in 16th, so quite a big gap. As Lucas makes it up to P3. And we have an all-star top 10, it seems. All the drivers within less than half a second of the car in front or behind.
Yes, Aaron May, our leading M Cup driver, in 10th position.
Yep. Was a bit of contact there, almost pushing each other on the grass unwillingly it seemed, but very, very close there. Again, Max looking at the outside here through the chase. And Sven gets it stopped very well, so it's BMW v Merc as advertised. Greg Metcalf in 4th position. Vlastinger, yes, and he keeps it tidy, not to get passed by Tom right behind him. We have Janko up to P7. And he put Peter Backus between him and Radek Pavlacek. That will be a relief, I think. And looking at lap times, we have our fastest driver is Max Haas at the moment with a 2:11 flat. The rest of the guys are a little bit slower compared to him, so he's the one setting the pace and really challenging Sven here for the lead. Of course, these two guys battling will mean that all the guys behind are able to stay somewhat close.
Yes, the field will be bunching up.
Yep.
Tighter and tighter behind.
Yeah, we have our top 20 within 13 seconds, so yeah, can imagine how close that is.
Ralph Ferrella down in 22nd, Jas Forsberg 23rd, so must have been an incident either together or individually, but they'll find themselves towards the back of the grid and all the work to do in the remaining 20 minutes to try and claw their way back up the order.
Indeed, already 5 minutes gone of this race. It's a shame they're not longer, but well, they are action-packed for sure. I think maybe drivers can't handle more than 25 minutes at a time in these cars with this kind of competition. And once again, Max will have a look, just like last lap. He's in front now. Yes, he is. He is in front, and Lucas also braking late.
Oh, amazing! From 3rd to 1st by Vlastimil. An incredible
Indeed,
overtaking manoeuvre on the brakes.
Very late braking, and he got it. Haas was thinking he got first position, but not really. Has to do it all over again. Sven Heke in 3rd position now, and indeed, as you said, I don't know Sven as well, but really keeping his own here in at the top of this. As Glavac makes it up to P6 now, and he is Lucas, fastest driver. No, sorry, it's Janko Glavic with a 209.2, fastest driver on the grid at the moment.
Oh, Sven's got a bit wide through Griffin's,
yeah,
which just gave Greg the opportunity, and there's contact.
There is. Can
Drivers.
you keep it together?
Seems so.
It's like they do, yeah. I will be back in 10 seconds.
So Sven dropping down the order a little. He'll be hoping to cling on to what he can. Ralph and Jazz still down in 22nd, 23rd. Aaron May still our leading AM driver in 10th. Clive Britton 12th. Shabolks has just been overtaken by Stefan Riedel. It looks like they're dueling it out for the 3rd position in the M Cup.
Is Albertini in the AM Cup as
yes,
well?
I believe he is.
Okay, so
yes.
sorry then, so my mistake in round 1. But indeed.
Janko now attacking Sven. Down Conrad, and looks like he's got ahead of him, so yeah. Janko's making progress.
Yeah, yes, now it will really start for him if he wants to get into first. Manojlovic, Metcalf, Haas and Lucas are not the easiest to pass for sure.
Tom on a wide out of the chase, which allowed Radek and Peter to overtaking on both sides, which looked quite spectacular, but Tom will be kicking himself after that small mistake, costing in another 2 places.
And once again, Lucas now fastest driver on the track, and it seems Haas has a bit more difficulties getting setting up a move on Vlastimil than he had on Sven. It's really well, he is also right all over the back of Lucas now. Incredible talent from all these drivers to keep it together with these cars. Pavlacek, he is in 8th. I would say stuck, but he's only 5 seconds off P1, so no worries whatsoever for him, but only 15 minutes to go. We have our top 4 covered by less than a second.
Yes, as you say, Miguel, the skill being shown by these drivers to race so close together and know when to come on the brakes and come off the brakes without causing much contact. It's just incredible, and it makes it forever spectacular viewing.
Yeah, and every single finisher of these 2 races deserves an applause at the end of the race, because it's really not the easiest track. In 2 weeks' time, it will be a completely different track as we go side by side there with Bacchus and Aaron May making it up to P8 now. So really moving up the order, getting past Pavlacek as well. So I think he made some kind of mistake.
Ahead of his teammate Tom too.
Yeah, indeed. So a bit of a gap between Glavac and Bacchus now. And so the top 5 is running away a little bit, as we see them all on our screen here now. But in 2 weeks' time, as I was saying, we go to Oschersleben, a completely different track. But well, the races that I had there were also very, very close. It's very difficult to pass on Oschersleben, so that will be a sight to watch as well. So don't forget, if you like the stream, to like it, subscribe to our channel if you want to be notified of any future videos from RRLeagues, and of course, even better, join us and join us on the grid, because if you're there watching, you could as well be racing with these guys if you want. and that's what it's all about, of course. This top 5 looks incredible.
Yes, 4 BMWs lead the front of the field. And Janko's chasing them down.
Yeah, Janko by far the fastest driver of these 5. He did a 1.8, a 208.4, as opposed to 209.3s, 6s. So more than over a second quicker than the rest of that top 5. So he could really be onto something special here today.
Yes, looks like he's got the right line into the chase. Got on the inside of Nemanja, so he's probably going to take that position. And yes, he has. So he's up to 4th. He'll have Greg in his sights next.
Greg Metcalf. Well, that will not be easy. We keep repeating it, but it's true. I think Max. No, he was a bit slower on the last lap, but I feel Max has a bit more pace in him than Lucas at the moment. But he needs to try and get past, of course. That's never easy. And,
yes, Max is one of our higher ranked drivers here at RRLeagues, and he was the first to admit that he struggled making the transition to these cars for the opening round at Zolder. But he appreciates that. And
turned around at Hell Corner. It's Pavlacek. Yeah, Pavlacek down to 18th. Sorry to interrupt you there, Simon.
Was there a touch? Did you see?
I didn't see. Nobody was turned around on the inside of Hell Corner, so I assume there was some contact. But I'm not sure with who. There's nobody really slowing down to wait for him, so can't really determine that.
It's like Vlastimil and Max are pulling a small gap to Greg as he deals with a mirror full of Mercedes in the form of Janko right behind him.
Yeah, 3 BMWs at the front at the moment. And Nemanja not giving up on that P4 for sure.
May must have had an issue too. Was the leading M Cup driver, but has now dropped down to 13th, which gives Clive the AM Honours title at the moment.
Indeed, for 11th position, David Dorder making it up to P12. So we saw him, I think. No, sorry, that was Arella down in 22nd.
Janko is
now in
attacking
17th.
Greg into the chase and he's made it past, made it stick. So Janko's on a charge, he's up to 3rd.
Looks like he knows when to make his move, because when he makes one, most of the time he's getting past. And Vlastimil, Max is in front of Vlastimil as well. So he got past right at the same moment. Can he run away with it? Because he will. These two guys maybe would want to work together a bit, although that's very difficult to stay in front of Jan. Vlastimil going for the inside, but Max gets it stopped and keeps him at bay. Again, side by side through the cutting, most difficult. Getting it slowed down and turned in correctly to get onto the power as early as you can, because you get keep that speed all the way through this section here over the mountain.
Timing screen is showing that Aaron May has significant damage, but
yeah, indeed, for me as well.
It's not always accurate. There was seems a few little bugs in the software, perhaps.
Yeah, he did 2.15 in the last lap, so that was quite slow, 4 seconds slower than the guys next to him. And he doesn't have a front bumper, which is completely gone. So looks like he is might be struggling for the next 8 minutes as Janko He's already having a look at Vlastimil, it seems. Will he make another pass on the first opportunity? And we're reaching Korčka, also in front to...
both drivers run wide
traffic.
through the chase, and Janko's going to take the positions.
First position for Janko,
look at that.
Greg on the inside for third. And Vlastimil together with Manojlovic collide on the last corner, and they will be dropping down the order. Can they get going again? That will be the question. They're still stranded on the on Main Straight. Nemanja pointing the wrong direction and having to wait until all the guys come past.
It was 4 into 1 in that final corner. It just wasn't going to work.
Well, 5 into 1 was a bit too much, maybe. It doesn't look like Nemanja's can get it going again. He's rolling back, but nope, he parks it in the garage. So that's a DNF for Manojlovic. A shame. Can't determine who was at fault there, but we will we'll have a look at that later on. So Janko Glavac now in P1 and putting Max already 1.1 seconds behind.
Ralph Varela making steady progress up to 14th after his earlier incident.
Yeah, indeed.
David Dorr having
right in front.
David Dorr having a better second race, it seems, so in 10th position.
Indeed, 10th position for David, and only 13 seconds P1. And we have Aaron May still AMCAP leader. Ilya Fernandez in 15th is his closest rival, only 1 second behind. And I think these 3 guys here are look to be battling for second spot, as Janko has checked out over this 1 lap that he was in the lead. Tom and Sven Hekke. Sven still in 5th, so well, was a bit further down, but keeping it tidy on the track. Only 5 minutes to go here in this race. And Greg Metcalf is very, very close to Max Haas. Max doesn't go defensive. Will he leave the inside open? No, he has...
yes.
He was trusting his brakes, but he loses the position.
Yes, a couple of times I've noticed Max could have defended possibly better on the inside, leaving the door there for the opportunity for the guys behind. They unduly took it.
Yeah, loses 2 positions and a possible podium spot. Let's see if he can get it. And Bakus again on the podium, and Greg Metcalf, very strong performance by him. And these 2 guys, Bakus and Metcalf, have fought their share of battles. So. There will be lots of respect between these 2.
Yes, Greg recently got a VR headset, so I'm not sure if he's racing tonight in VR, but it'll be another challenge.
Right. Indeed.
Through this walled alley that is Bathurst.
Yeah, we have Clive Britton in 8th, leader of the AMCAP. I think I missed because he was already there. So Clive Britton, and then in 2nd will be Aaron May, and then Ilya Fernandez in 3rd for that battle. Oh, it's almost side by side between Tom and Sven.
Be Fast Racing drivers, John Patterson and Jelle Ooms. Jelle performing quite well in 7th.
Yep.
John down in 20th, so still time for him to make a few places perhaps, but yes, I'm sure he would have been hoping
close,
for better than this.
Indeed, but he's close behind Barker and Albertini, so still some opportunities to make up lost ground.
Sure. And Ralph Varela back down to 22nd. So Ralph's had another problem somewhere.
Yeah, looks like he's alone on the track here at the moment. And Jelle also joining the party with Sven and Tom. And these guys are battling so hard. Jelle can just stick with them. Now let's hope for Clive Britton that his last few minutes of this race are better than those of race 1. But it's looking good. It's looking good. Still our top 7 within 12 seconds is quite important. But Janko starting from P9, yes, P9, making his way all the way up to P1 over the course of about 20 minutes with an epic pass for the lead as
Sven Hecke runs wide out of the chase, loses 2 positions to Tom and Jelle. Does he?
Yeah. Some things going on there at the end of the top 10. So we keep following the battle between Metcalf and Bacchus. And Max Haas is also not giving up. And I think we are on to our last lap. Yes, indeed. 35 seconds to go. So next time we cross the finish line, that's the end of this race. Max Haas currently quicker than Janko Glavac, 2/10 quicker, so he has the pace right there for Bacchus. We see a last lap pass here for the podium spots. Through Skyline.
So Peter applying all kinds of pressure on the back of Greg, yeah. But Greg using all of his experience to make times as tough as possible for Peter.
Yeah. Well, the only key point was here Forrest Selbo getting a good exit there. Was the only thing Peter had or has to focus on. Doesn't seem to be close enough, but we still have Murray's corner, which can be very, very tricky as Peter gets really close now. Greg compromises his entry into the chase. Oh, Peter is on the inside for Murray's corner.
The action flicks away. Maybe we'll...
No, we stay with this
looks like
battle.
Peter.
Oh, Greg.
Looks like Peter's taken the position.
Yes, indeed. Peter taking second spot, and Janko Glavac, we almost forgot to mention, taking the win here in the second race here at Bathurst. And the battle for P7 also as close as
so
ever.
Close.
John Patterson here in P17 also already crossing the finish line, so that's how close it was. Patterson battling it out with Colin Barker in front for P17 now, P16 sorry, and Ralph Arella making up some spots. Oh, a bit of contact there with Aaron May. also an epic second race as well, I think. First race was action-packed, second race even more.
Aaron bringing his destroyed Mercedes across the line.
Yes, indeed. Completely lost his front bumper.
So another pair of cracking races here for the second round of the CrewChief BMW v Merc 92 series. Radek taking the win in the opening race, but Janko producing a quite awesome drive to bring his car through the field and take the victory here in the second race.
Yeah, and consolidating his first place in the championship for now. But well, the guys behind were a lot closer in terms of lap times, I think. So I don't think Janko will really run away with the championship. He will need to keep it mistake-free, at least show up for all the races, and then he will have a chance to get the championship. And here are the final standings. So it's Glavac from Bakus, and then Metcalf on the podium, Max Haas in fourth. Then we have Tom Korhonen in fifth, and then Sven Hekke, Jelle Ooms, Morten Roslev, and Clive Britton all within 1 second. Then David Dore, Vlastimir Lucas, Vlach in the top 12. Stefan Riedel, Petr Peck, Jas Forsberg, Colin Barker, John Patterson, Noel Kram, Aaron May, and Ralph Arella for the top 20, and I think the AM Cup, Clive Britton wins it in front of Albertini and May, if I'm not mistaken. So indeed, two cracking races. So if you want to get racing with us, you can find at RRLeagues.com or on any social platform. You can reach us there to get racing with us. So make sure to do that. And if you don't want to race but just watch the races here, make sure to like and subscribe the stream so you'll be notified of future videos.
Yes, it's been another eventful evening. Once again in the CrewChief series. As you mentioned earlier, 2 weeks' time we'll be at Oskarsleben for round 3 of the championship. Like you alluded to, a very different challenge to what the drivers have faced here tonight at Bathurst. So I believe that just about brings this production to a close. Thanks Miguel for providing some excellent commentary throughout. As always, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, indeed a pleasure to watch and to be in the booth with you today again. Let's see if we can do that again in 2 weeks' time.
Yep, we're looking forward to it indeed. So, yep, from both of us, we'll wrap it up there tonight, and hopefully we'll see you again soon. That's all for tonight, guys. Thank you very much. And
yeah, thank you.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.